Okay, we are live. We got the green light. We got the green light. We've got the audio working. Looks like we're working. Everybody, welcome. I'm applauding the audience that we're here. And welcome to the Naked Famous Denim weekly live stream, streaming live from somewhere in Japan. The
secret location
here in Japan. We're here to give you all the news that you can use regarding raw denim, denim, definitely some off-topic ramblings because I can't help myself. And I'm glad to be here with all of you. And yeah.
Yes, it's a perfect day for a raw denim discussion.
Yeah, it's currently here. Let's talk about my favorite topic, the weather. It's terrible here right now.
Well, the typhoon was visiting us a little bit.
Yeah.
So yesterday was horrible.
Yeah, it still hasn't left us. It's been raining for like 30 hours.
Yeah, we're on the tail end of it.
But yeah, it's pretty gloomy and gray out there. Hopefully things start to pick up soon. Nothing I hate more than gray and gloomy weather. Just puts me in a not the best mood. I don't know.
Even though you're inside.
Even though I'm inside, I can't stay. I want sunny days all the time. I want sunny days even at night.
Yeah. Well, 2 p.m. it will be sunny again.
All right. Well, let's hope so. Let's check in with the chat. Let us know what the weather is like where you are. Hopefully it's more sunny and beautiful than what we're experiencing right now. We've got Feronius. Hello from New Mexico, USA. Welcome.
Sounds sunny.
Yeah, it does sound sunny. Invis Ian's DC is in the house. DC is always in the house when Invis Ian's is in the house. We've got Jaden. Been wearing my MIJ9s the last couple of weeks. Beautiful pair. New Jersey in the house, baby. My partner says, hi, BFF, Risa.
Oh,
all right.
hello.
Fantastic. Pedro writes, finally warming up in Indiana. The Catman checking in from Chicago, wearing some jorts I made myself off of an old faded pair.
Nice.
Well, that's the way to do it. Or if you want us to do it for you, we'll also handle that for you over at Tate and Yoko and Naked and Famous Denim NYC. Any pair that you get from the store, even if it's a pair you want to bring back for alteration, we can handle that for you. We can turn them into a pair of shorts, easy breezy. I would say that if you're going to bring in a pair that you already own, walk it in. It's not worth it to ship it to us to do it. Because your local tailor shop will do it for cheaper than what it'll cost to ship it.
And we don't take mail-ins.
Yeah, and we don't take mail-ins. So, there's an even better reason. But if you are buying a new pair or you are in the local area, we'll absolutely turn your jeans or like work pants or whatever, any bottom that you got from us, we'll turn them into shorts
and
for
it's
you.
actually a good idea to turn like worn-in pair into shorts because it kind of gives you the second life. It's already broken in, kind of, soft and easy. Yeah,
in my email blast today, I put that, like, my pick. I said our pick, but it's really my pick. But I'm presuming it's everybody's pick. I think everyone's going to agree with me. If you're going to pick up fabric this season, the new Frontier is the way to go for shorts.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they're already washed. They're already, swooshy and nice and broken in.
Yeah,
so,
pretty light, too.
Yeah. BD writes, I am nearly vaporized with 33 degrees in southern Ontario.
Wow, well, that's higher than us here.
That's it.
Wow.
Stay cool, but enjoy that sun. Enjoy that sun. Monkey Bars writes, Monkey Bars. My nephew broke his arm on the Monkey Bars just recently. Evil monkey. No, you're fine. It's not your fault. The Monkey Bars are a dangerous place. I just remember, like, telling my sister, every year in school, some kid got injured on the Monkey Bars. There was just...
They get injured on the ground running, so...
Yeah, but it's always, like, there's a broken... I remember when I was in grade 5, it was, like, the second day of school, and some girl broke both her legs. 2 legs.
Ugh, that's not good.
Yeah, it was like not. Anyhow, I do enjoy the monkey bars, but be careful.
Have you been on one recently?
No, I have not. I remember enjoying them.
Yeah, it's a good one.
But anyways, that's some news for you. Are we bringing back the Hanami?
Hanami, no.
It's not in the plans. I would say it's not unlikely that we will bring that back.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, pink weft is always a popular one. We just did Sakura Sky.
Yeah.
So it was a light blue pink weft.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, the next one probably will be dark blue pink weft.
Yeah.
Similar to Hanami.
Yeah. I really like, we took, the Vulgar Selvedge. That is essentially what goes into making the Vulgar is the same thing that went into making the Hanami. So it's not just letters. It's like, we could put little graphics and things like that in there too. And I just thought the Hanami was.
Yeah.
I thought that was such a good idea.
Yeah. And it's actually very complicated to make. Last time we went to visit the fabric mills in Japan, we got to see the machine working Selvedge Denim with the jacquard edge, just like Hanami or the Vulgar Selvedge, and it's not how I thought it would be.
Right.
It was just a lot more effort into that.
So it'll come back eventually. It's just not in the plans right now. I mean, that's. Yeah, I guess the big overall question is, which jeans do you want to see come back?
Yeah.
Right? And we hear from you guys a lot about that kind of thing. So we certainly consider it. We don't bring back as many fabrics as...
But if people keep asking us, we definitely will cave and do it. One of those was the Rainbow Gore.
Right.
That was one of the highest request amount of all time, and we did it.
Yeah. Also, I mean, the other big request was JoJo.
Yeah. JoJo, the idea of JoJo completely is
completely from the audience here.
Yeah.
So when that's coming out, I keep bugging Brandon about it.
TBD.
Yeah, when you guys bug me, don't worry. The message gets sent loud and clear. You're not bugging me, by the way. It's fine. But yeah.
So that was a fan request or the customer request.
Yeah, we definitely listen.
So
if there's stuff you want, continue to ask. It's never an issue.
Yeah.
Pedro writes, weekly beg / asking for toxic elephant. Yeah. And an alternating twill elephant.
Yeah. I mean, that's also a very challenging one, I would have to say.
Yeah. It's the challenge with the
alternating twill.
Yeah, the alternating twill is that we can't do it in Selvedge. So
well, it's not a challenge, it's just a fact.
Right. So it would not be a Selvedge elephant. But I could see it happening one day. We've got pending new name, right? I would love to have a purple weft denim. So the JoJo Giorno is gonna be moi. Fantastic. Moi. Yeah, we have to get the product photos are done. Yeah. We have to get
like once we have more of an idea of the release date.
That's basically it. I don't want to put all the photos and everything on the website.
Yeah, without knowing when they're gonna be available.
Because
maybe not the exact date, but we should have an idea.
It's basically to preserve our sanity, because as soon as we put it up and we don't have a release date, then we're just going to get bombarded with questions about the release date. Even if we put on the website like TBD,
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, there's just we're just gonna get nailed with emails. So we'll keep it between us for now here on the live stream. You guys know, but yeah, I'm sorry that it hasn't come out yet. I was really anticipating for it to be out literally right now.
Yeah. After all the spring is, release is done, and we're approaching that time now. So we will see.
We'll see. I will as I get news, I will keep you posted. So that's that. Okay. Riley O'Brien writes, "What's the ideal inseam length for shorts? I want to have some denim shorts, about 5'9". What do you guys suggest? Do you guys suggest a fit for shorts? Is Weird Guy the best option?" I would, for fit wise, I would say that something a little bit looser is going to work for you. So if the Weird Guy isn't fitted on you, like, painted on, then that's a good option. Although if you want something that's a little bit more fitted, that's fine too. Really, this is all, have it your way, right?
Yeah, but I think with shorts, it's, it probably, when you're thinking of shorts, it's probably something a little, not like literally like bike shorts kind of thing.
Yeah. Some people like that denim bike short kind of look.
Yeah.
Again, it's up to you. As far as length, I'd say, like 2 fingers above the knee is where I would go for length. And then if you want them to be a little bit shorter, then you can always cuff them up a little bit. So I can't give you a specific inseam because everyone's, proportions are a little bit different. Yeah. But if you factor that in, that's probably the way to go.
Yeah. But also, again, I would have to repeat that if you want to cuff, you also want room in the legs.
Yeah.
So, yeah, something looser, something that fits looser on you. Like, even Easy Guy, like, because it's tapered, it might, it might be fitted at the bottom, but if you cut it off, half of it might not be, so.
Writes W5 writes, good question. What do the mills say about the vulgar selvage? Are they like, you wanted to put what on the fabric?
I mean, these are Japanese mills, so they don't really...
They kind of think it's funny.
Okay.
But you know what? They've told me that, like, maybe other fashion like literal fashion houses, if they come and do like a mill tour, they're like, oh, if it's running, like they've shown it to people. And I also presumed that idea would get ripped off by one of them, and it hasn't.
Yeah, it's mostly used for brand names.
Yeah, sometimes you'll see luxury brands with
like a logo monogram.
Yeah, with their like text logo, whatever it is. Mm-hmm. Like they'll have it on the selvage, and if you see it and it's Japanese selvage, it's definitely made in the same mill as our vulgar selvage. But yeah.
Yeah, I think they told us that like they're they chuckle when they see
laugh.
it, and but
I really expected it to be ripped off, but maybe one day it will be. But anyway, we definitely invented that, the vulgar selvage. BD writes, my semi-frequent request for a cookies and cream 100% cotton selvage possible with that fabric. Any cool stories about those previous releases? Cookies and cream, just keep reminding me, because I definitely want to do something like that again for next fall.
We're talking about it.
Yeah, I think it just slips my mind every time. 100%. Just keep that one up in the chat because that's I'm writing it down.
100% cotton.
100 might not be possible.
Possible because the neps cannot be cotton. Mm-hmm. So it would have to be
like a polyester acrylic.
Acrylic,
kind of thing.
Yeah, it's usually acrylic, but non-stretch is obviously an option.
Yeah. So the answer is, you're gonna get it. You're gonna get your wish. Okay. Mike Knight, I would like some kind of glitter core jeans. Jeans that fade to sparkle. Glitter core.
Glitter core.
But
glitter is not
Yeah.
achievable in cotton.
What is achievable is if we got some kind of metallic foil and then you coated the denim or like pressed it into the fabric.
Oh, like the other way.
Yeah.
Yes,
so like
that's
it would
possible.
start off
Sparkly.
yeah, sparkly and then
And then fade
it would
off.
fade off.
But that's kind of like that's not the direction you want to go. You don't want to fade
No,
it.
but
the
it won't
sparkle.
all go away, right?
Right,
It'll
right.
crack off.
Yeah.
Maybe eventually it'll all go away. I mean, the reality is that you're probably not wearing that jean every day.
If it's sparkly,
Yeah.
yes. But I think it's also just like, it's kind of nice to have like a fade into glory, but
Yeah.
like fade out of glory is
Yeah.
not the idea. I don't know.
I don't
Anyways.
know. But I think if you want sparkle, you want it to sparkle, and then, I don't know, I just feel like that's like a going out kind of jean.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
It's a hard one to just wear to the grocery store.
I
Do
don't know.
you.
It just
Do you.
depends on your lifestyle.
But like, I had, when I was a younger, thinner man, I had these Dior jeans that were like silver, metallic, like, it looked like an 80s robot. I don't know why I said 80s robot. I just,
Because robots nowadays look like humans.
I guess, that's it. But they were these just metal-looking jeans, and I remember seeing, because I worked at Holt Renfrew, and I saw them on the runway show, and I'm like, oh my god, I have to have these jeans. These are the craziest
Oh my
jeans I've
God.
ever seen.
Yeah.
And then I went down to the downtown Bloor Street store, and we had them. They had like one pair in my size. Luckily, I had a good discount, but they were very, very pricey. And I owned them, and I was just like, okay, now...
You haven't sold them.
Have I? I don't know. They might be in...
think
Are they
Yeah.
in Montreal?
I think so.
They might be in Montreal. I have a box of just jeans in Montreal in my office somewhere. They might be there. Maybe next time we go back, I'll find them and show them. But they're crazy. And I have fond memories of owning them, but like, I think I wore them like 3 times.
Really?
Yeah, they just never got worn. Because where the heck was I ever gonna wear these things?
In
Really,
Japan, I think you can just pull that out. Not that
I would ever fit in them. They're like
Yeah.
a size 28. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I can see like there are guys like that in Japan walking around,
Yeah.
not necessarily going
Right.
partying, but just walking around.
That's true.
So
Yeah, different.
fit right in.
Yeah, I would fit here certainly. Maybe too loud for me. For
you
nowadays.
now, yes.
Yeah. Younger bays had no problem.
Yeah, when you're young, it's
When you're young, you really want to push. I just find that when you're young and you get into fashion,
you like obvious.
yeah, you like obvious and you like fitted. Something, I don't know what it is about, tell me in the chat, guys, when you first discovered, better dressing, were you also in the fitted category? Like, I need it every,
But it's also the time.
maybe, because I came out of late 90s, early 2000s, everything was kind of loose and baggy, and I'm like, nope, let's go,
Yeah.
Tailored,
Yeah.
right? And so
that
everything,
was literally like the beginning of skinny jeans for men.
yeah, I guess so. It took a little while for the skinny jeans to pick up.
Yeah.
It really took a while for those to pick up. But when they did, they dominated.
Yeah.
But yeah. Chris Griffin, also stretch jeans were kind of new around then. That's true.
Stretch.
I would say that like the rise of like the LA brands was stretch and just the perfect fit. Right? Because I remember when I was working I was in Ladies Diesel, and all of our jeans were 100% cotton. And we had just such a hard time competing with the LA brands, because the LA brands they had stretch, And so the lady would come out of the change room, and they had the diesel jeans on, and like they look good, but they're like
very uncomfortable.
Yeah,
I had one of those.
Yeah, and then they would come out with like one of the LA brands, and they're like
hiking.
No problem.
Yeah.
Like they're like, I got kids. Like my butt's not hanging out of this. Like whatever it was. Like give me 2 pairs of these, and I'm like, okay, cool. Whatever you want, we'll get you. But yeah, stretch, and just I don't know. Anyways, a lot of fitted gear for me back in those days. Mm-hmm. Even when I first got into raw denim, my first pairs weren't fitted because we didn't really have skinny jeans then. And then when I discovered skinny jeans, I was wearing painted on jeans. Mm-hmm. Like they were fitted. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I was like that for a while.
It's also that like willingness to struggle for like what you think is, looks good or fashionable. Yeah. It's just the tolerance level just goes down and down as you age.
Yeah. I mean, I obviously don't have the physique I had when I was, 22 years old.
But even if you do, I think you're just going to be like, you know what? I appreciate comfort over maybe style.
Maybe. Now I feel like I've got a pretty good casual balance of things. But I definitely wanted to look very much like, I'm like, that's the magazine look? Okay, that's...
Yeah.
Give me that.
Like when we were younger, like I always hated heels, but I did wear heels, and like more than that, like my friends all wore heels. Nowadays, like nobody wears heels anymore.
That's true.
It's just we're like, I don't need the extra couple inches.
When I worked in the ladies department, all the girls I worked with, all the ladies, just the heels all the time.
Yeah, and they were standing and walking around all
on
day,
a hard floor all
day.
day, and I'm like, how do you? Anyways, how do they do it? They did it. I mean, they did it forever. I mean, they're professional heel wearers.
Yeah, but my friend said like, so she was like, for work, like she would wear heels all day, every day, and so like she would just like on the days off and stuff, like she would feel weird because her feet are so used to being like this and walking, so like it's just like it's even more uncomfortable.
And also what you can see. I mean, when you've added like 2 inches, like you just feel like, wow, did I lose some height here? All right, let's hit the comments. Pedro writes, yeah, I was in that boat. It's got to be fitted. Now I'm leaning towards looser fits. Like I need a true guy added, waiting for the next elephant to snag a true guy. Yeah, I mean, I've been nonstop true guy since it's come in. I just comfortable. One thing you'll really notice about the true guy, if you're coming from like a weird guy, is the little bit of extra room in the rise. It fits a little bit more like easy guy in that respect, where it's not as fitted in the seat thigh, like just general like crotch area. It's very welcome if you're sitting at a desk all day like I do.
Doesn't ride up.
You got a lot of room. Also, maybe you should do this, but like mine aren't fitted in the waist. Like to start, I got a decent amount of room, right? So maybe just consider getting them a little bit bigger.
And also like if you're coming from not so high rise, like depending on your body type, like the waist measurement that you need might be different. So that's one thing I would say. Like if your jeans are like sitting close to your hip bone as opposed to maybe higher in your waist, your requirement for waist size might be different.
Okay. Monkey Bars writes, being a millennial from New York City, everything was baggy and oversized. Clothes were all disposable to me since the quality has always been trash in the mainstream, even for designer stuff. None of it made an impression until I got a pair of Red Wings and Selvedge jeans tapered to my length. Yeah. Sometimes it just takes that right item to flip that switch, and then you're like, all right, this is the way to go from now on.
100%. Like
raw jeans were, no. my first kind of quote designer jeans were that for me. And then that's what flipped over like, okay, I need to have good jeans. And then in my search for good jeans, once I discovered like raw jeans, that was it. Like that was like there's certain moments in your life where you're like, oh well, that was a turning point. And certainly, I mean, just considering the trajectory of my life, discovering my first pair of raw jeans was a big moment in my development.
Your life.
Yeah, no question about it. I mean, it has I owe all of my current life to finding that pair of jeans.
Yeah.
If I didn't become obsessed with that pair, I have no idea where I would be right now. Maybe I would have eventually found raw denim, but maybe my DNA was,
Yeah, like if you already built a different career and you're like really deep into it, then you might not have be like, oh, let's work in denim. Like the timing and everything. Yes. We probably would have never met.
That's it. No, we would have met. We would have found a way. It's just the way it is. It's just like I would have found raw denim and I would have found you. Nothing changes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's predetermined.
Throughout every conceivable timeline in existence ever, those two are...
Just like Rick and Morty.
Yeah, that's just like Rick and Morty. That's it. So, this is the prime timeline. Writes W5 writes, today I ordered a 57mm diameter watch as a bit of amusement, not as a serious watch. Yeah, sometimes you have to have something like that in the old watch.
50mm?
57mm. It's quite a large face. Yeah. It's okay. Man, I own, like sunglasses, watches. I've started to refine my taste a little bit. Although I wasn't a big watch guy for a long time. I'm not a huge watch guy. I like watches. I just can't afford to be in that hobby. I can't keep up with the Iron Snail. He's got...
I'm sure he gets a better deal.
He gets a little better deal. But I certainly... Yeah. Anyhow, I can admire watches from Instagram and then, pick up the ones that I want here and there. But I do own a bunch of goofy watches. Just like sunglasses. I don't own any regular sunglasses. I only own goofy sunglasses.
And you never wear them.
And I never wear them. I like them. I like the idea of them. I like wearing them once a year, if that.
At home, basically.
At home.
Just try it on.
And that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Al's, I don't know how to say that. Am I the only one who rocked Raws in high school?
You might be a little younger than this.
Yeah, I wonder what your age is.
Yeah.
Look, there was a certain age of maybe people in this chat where that was the only option in high school, right? And then by the time, when I was in high school, even the idea of, I don't know, maybe it's just my surroundings, but or my ignorance, I just maybe was just not aware of designer jeans. Like it didn't come across like, I'm like, you went to the Gap and got a pair of jeans, that was good jeans, right?
Yeah. And Raws are not so readily available in everywhere. But I did know a friend who was, she was wearing her brother's jeans. And then those were raw. And I thought that was cool. I actually, that probably was my first encounter of raw denim jeans. I just didn't recognize, I didn't register it that way.
You know who wore the raw jeans in my high school, and they probably didn't think about it the same way, were if you were buying the hip hop brands, right? Like the really baggy, oversized stuff. They did a lot of chore coats and things like this, and because a lot of it was mimicking just real workwear, and so you'd have these big, super wide carpenter pants that were all raw, thick white stitching, and sometimes you'd have like a cartoon character or something, patch on it. But those were raw, but nobody thought to be like, oh well, let's just wear these for months and months and months on end and fade them. It was just like I like clean dark, and maybe they would. I don't know. Anyways, that would be like, but the idea of being like a heritage guy in my age when I was in high school, not even just a heritage guy, but like a raw denim guy during my time in high school, that thought never crossed anybody's mind.
It's also like, I mean, we still encounter people who just don't register raw. It's like, like we talk with like buyers who are like, whose livelihood is, picking clothes and selling them, but they sometimes refer to raw jeans as like, oh, you do dark washes.
Yeah, dark wash.
Dark wash. Like, no, like, it's not
they're
dark wash.
Yeah, sometimes and you'd be with these denim buyers, and they're like, okay, so you have a dark wash, you have a light wash. I'm like, I know what you're asking, yes. Right? And sometimes I'm like, look, I'll say I have a light fabric. It's not a wash because it's not technically washed. And anyways, you got to go through that explanation. But they're like, oh, okay. And then, all right, keep showing me more washes. And I'm like, but yeah, it's Salsa writes a good comment. So many people wore raw cowboy cut Wranglers here in Texas. I've seen many cool fades on them, but they don't know raw denim is a subculture. It's true.
I mean, like
all of the vintage jeans that we can admire were worn by people who never considered this to be anything other than a worn out pair of jeans.
Pre-washing jeans is relatively a new thing. Like, it's in the history of denim. It's not. It wasn't common.
Yeah. Hey Tang Jung writes, we didn't have raw when I was a kid. We were just poor Koreans. Now, I would say that you probably did have, there were raw jeans around. Like, it's just that the way we think about raw jeans now as, sort of the artisanally made garment is different than
just unwashed.
Like an unwashed, basic, cheap fabric. Like, those have always existed. It's just that we
those
never
were jeans before.
Right.
Yeah.
And before they were absolutely, that was the only option. So sometimes you just have to like think, maybe I didn't recognize those as raw because it wasn't the way I see raw today as this subculture. I remember just thinking back to like, my high school days, it was like, by the end of high school, just after high school, I started learning about, I had some friends that like, oh, I found this vintage t-shirt, and I'm like, vintage? I'm like, why would you? Like, and my idea of like going to the thrift store and buying something was I was a little jaded, right? I'm like, why would I wear someone's used or old clothes? That's ridiculous. And then the more I would hang out with these friends, the more I was like, oh, actually there's maybe something to this.
Yeah.
And you'd find these old corduroys or these old, whatever it was, ties. And I remember being able to find like, and then I learned about Big E. And then I was like, oh, I got to find these Big E's.
Like a treasure hunt.
And then I would find, and sometimes I would go to a thrift store and I'd find one and it'd be like priced up at like $30 or $40. And I'm like, oh, these guys, or sometimes it'd be like $70. And I'm like,
this is ridiculous.
I'm like, these guys, that's not the spirit of thrifting. It has to be like $2. I remember turning jackets down and being like, oh, hey, $50. No way, I'm gonna find this for like
$4,
$1 somewhere. And now I'm just like, oh, when we were in Hawaii, we went to a shop and they knew the prices of everything. And like every jacket, although I would say that they were fairly priced, right?
Right. It's like, not like they're the like
the $30,000,
Yeah.
$10,000, $5,000 jacket. Like, I could definitely see some of those jackets that they had there. If they were brought to Japan, they would be selling for 4 or 5 times more. So they had jackets in like the $300 to $500 range, which is like that's just kind of the going rate these days for a certain era.
Correct value of the items.
Yeah.
It's
It's the value for the buyer, right? For like the guy who. The problem is that I think the people who are into that are fewer than the people who are, than the actual amount of these jackets that are available, and you know they end up like this particular store had just a lot of them, and I'm sure there was more in the back, right? And it's like you're just waiting for the buyer, waiting for the right person to come in
and buy them all,
or just buy one. And then you sit on these jackets forever. But to be fair, maybe the value goes up. I don't know. I'm not in that business. But
the likelihood of that going away is that a buyer who is going to resell are going to come in and buy at that price.
Right. That's true. That's true. They're just waiting for someone to come in and be like, I want all of them.
Yeah.
Because they're going to resell them for triple.
It's really like there is not much more fun left in.
It's hard.
I mean,
it's also because the time to find those things has kind of passed, right? You know, I remember thrifting and being able to find like Nintendo games for $1 at the Goodwill, and that just doesn't happen anymore.
Yeah, and
right?
then we all know, like, you know, when it comes to gaming, like, it's just like, okay, like the older stuff was valuable. Now, like, there's abundant of, you know, like 2000s games, and everybody knows that it's going to go up, and it's just like you can see the future. And it just kind of, I guess it's not as much fun.
Right. Yeah, once it becomes a commodity, it becomes less fun. And as a guy who collects a lot of different things, it just pains me when because certain things, like, you know, for example, like, you know, like Fire King mugs or things like that, like, I just don't think that there's actually that many collectors. And sometimes you go into a shop and it's just like, you know, they've priced it for the person who wants one and who's gonna like splurge on one, and it's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like you have a lot of inventory just sitting here, and maybe you've made the prices more reasonable. You might actually turn more people into customers. I don't know how it all works.
But it's also, like, when it comes to Fire King and stuff like that, I think it is because of the collector's culture that it became more popular. If it wasn't, like, premium priced, nobody would be like, oh, it's you know, whatever. Like, there will be always people who collect them, you know, find value in them, but like it wouldn't be a cool item, collector's item, unless like the premium goes up and up and up.
Right. The internet also ruined it.
Yeah, internet ruined everything.
Internet ruined everything.
Although,
except for this live stream. It has provided us a great way to communicate with you guys.
It also improved everything.
It also did. It just drove the prices for everything up.
Yes.
Yeah. Anything that you thought was just like mundane, no, there's somebody who will pay quite a good amount for it.
And also, there's no more secrets.
There's no more secrets.
Everybody knows everything.
Yeah. Everyone's a genius. You know, okay, I'm going to answer some questions in a second, but sometimes, you know, in my YouTube feed lately, just because I consume a lot of, you know, menswear and raw denim and boots and, like, you know, fine kind of dressing content, I'm getting a little bit more recommendations from streetwear guys turned raw denim guys, just because I feel like that's, you know, they're on that trend, and then because there's some of the content creators in that space are very, like, they're very, what's the word I'm thinking of? Conscious of what the trends are, so they chase the trends really fast. So it's like, oh, if that's the new trend, that's going to be me, and now I'm going to project this, you know. And so I've seen, you know, a lot of content here and there being created There's some of it is good, and like people are taking like an honest approach. Like I'm new to this, so I'm learning, and I want to. And then there's people who are like, oh, I've been into denim and raw denim for years, and I'm like, no, you haven't. And it's like it's fine to not be the expert.
Yeah.
Right? And sometimes I feel like if you go online and you don't have to project yourself as like I'm because I'm making fashion related content, I know everything, and like you don't. You could just be a novice and learn along with everybody else. And because for me the danger of that is you've got this person who doesn't know anything who's now telling a new audience about something and then just providing the wrong information, which ultimately affects me because then somebody is like, well, I heard that I have to like size these down 3 times, and so I did, and I normally wear a size 36, but I bought a size 32 because they're supposed to stretch out 5 inches, and it didn't do that, and so they're defective. And you're just like, oh boy.
Yeah.
Oh boy. There's a lot of things I gotta fix in that one. So yeah, I mean, I don't know how many YouTube content creators are watching this who are making raw denim related content, but if you are, and you are not sure about something, please ask me. I am absolutely contactable and approachable. I will tell you everything, and I will answer all your questions so your content can be as good as possible instead of, relying on some stuff you read on the internet.
But it's also like the sad thing is that I mean, if the right information gets to those people, it's like, say, these are YouTube videos, like somebody who knows or commenting, well, actually, like, this is, that what you said about this is incorrect.
Right.
This is, that those usually get ignored. It's like, it's not like they don't, I don't know. I think, I feel like it's just like,
sometimes it's just like, I'm just putting the content up. It's really, it really doesn't matter.
It's not really about being correct or being,
that is true.
Spreading the information.
I've seen guys new to the world, and I have to genuinely say, like, they're taking, like, it's refreshing to see people getting into it and learning about it. And then I've seen the approach of like, dude, I know what I'm talking about here. I'm like, you don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just...
Or like the worst is like, I don't care if it's correct or technical information. I'm just making YouTube content.
Right. But that said, I do feel like we are welcoming a new generation of raw denim enthusiasts. And whether it's the transient type who's like, well, this is the new trend I'm in. This is what I'm gonna consume for a while. What's gonna happen is just like what happened to me. You discovered something. Maybe you didn't. You discovered it that way, right? Somebody introduced this concept to you. You got a pair of raw denim jeans, and you're like, "This is me now," right? So there's gonna be some of you who are, "This is me now," and this is me going forever. And then there's some people who are like, "Oh, this is cool," and then
Yeah, but it's not for me.
Yeah, next season I'm moving on. That's fine. But regardless, because there is a little bit of a magnifying glass on this right now, a younger generation I find is discovering raw denim, and we're gonna see a new, like a young group of folks in the community. What's the opposite of an OG? A YG. Is that it? A young gangster? Yeah, I think so. So we gotta train them right.
Yeah.
We gotta show them the ways. Okay, let's. A lot of questions came through, so let's try to address some of these. They might be a little not in sync with what we're talking about right now. But pending new name writes, honestly, my dad wore 501s every day as a construction worker. My granddad wore black 501s every day when not in the office to do auto work and yard work, etc. But they wore raw denim for the function. Yes. My granddad was building hot rods in the 70s and 80s. That's pretty cool. Wow. Yeah. I mean, also, like, especially during that era, like, that was your option. Like,
Yeah.
you
Especially for certain activities,
Yeah.
like you wear jeans.
yeah, like jeans were for like work and for play. You know, I was looking through some old Sears catalogs, late 1800s, early 1900s, just this week, just going through them, seeing, you know, I always find them quite interesting. And yeah, I mean, the amount of, like, just the way jeans were marketed, it was purely for, you're a construction worker, an engineer, a painter, whatever. If you're a tradesman, this is what you want to wear. And if you're a little boy, this is what you play in. And a lot of it was marketed as like, you know, these overalls are like kind of cut big, so they go over your kids' clothes, and they make your kids' clothes last longer because you wear these out.
Yeah.
You know, and I thought that was kind of neat. But yeah, that's just the way things were. Mm-hmm. Salsa writes, before I learned about raw denim, I learned about selvage. I remember chewed up fashion selvage jeans were popular for a time in streetwear. Chewed up? I'm trying to remember. I can't. Oh, yeah, I remember. I know what brand you're talking about. They definitely did that. Okay. Cathedral Ring writes, do you think there is a portion of the raw denim / selvage community do you think that there is a portion of the raw denim community are too much like the Carhartt crowd, aka never worked manual labor in their life, but try too hard to present that logger image? Okay, so I guess your question is, do I think there is a portion of our, you know, the raw denim enthusiasts who are LARPing as, you know,
Like
workers? Yes, of course. I mean,
it's hard nowadays. Like the majority of work is not manual labor anymore in this part of the world, anyways. Yeah. So it's like it's hard to be like justify like workwear style fashion. I mean, I'm sure that there's still a lot of you know, manual labor where, you know, people who are wearing jeans, but I have a feeling that majority of those people who actually live that life are not wearing like raw jeans.
But I think it also even goes back to early jeans, right? Because if you go and you look at those old catalogs, those jeans were marketed towards workers and children, right? And then all of a sudden they became fashionable, you know, in the 50s. And so just like, you know, the Carhartt and the workwear garments today that were maybe designed with one thing in mind, you know, its fit and function and look have also transcended that into fashion, into the fashion world. So look, there's nothing wrong with, I don't think that there's anything wrong with it.
No, not
right? You dress how you feel, and just because you don't work on a farm or, you know, a lumber mill, or, you know, you're a carpenter, doesn't mean you can't enjoy these clothes.
I mean, to be fair,
they're just clothes, right? And you're wearing a high quality, you know, especially in our world, you're wearing a high quality garment that's made by people who care about, you know, we're not also like, especially if you're buying, you know, raw denim in our level, you're buying it for the artisanal kind of quality of it, right?
Yeah.
And it's transcended just function.
Yeah,
it is certainly
100%.
Fashion, and you're wearing like a evolving piece of art, right? So I don't think that there's anything wrong with it.
Everything comes down to that. And certainly there's no, like, especially, like, you know, people who wear Naked and Famous jeans, for instance.
Yeah.
Like, there's no point in having jeans that fades to red.
Yeah, right.
But
That's
just
true.
do it. It's because it's fun. Like, just because it came from one thing doesn't necessarily mean that the use of that should stay within that. I mean, it's like everything, like nowadays, like everybody wear yoga pants.
Yeah.
Although, to be fair, I think back when yoga pants was starting, yoga pants didn't look like yoga pants
Yeah,
today.
that's right.
Like it's more like running
Yeah.
pants.
These things transcend a lot.
Like you don't have to go exercise to wear those exercise gears anymore. It's just that's part of your wardrobe.
Yeah, and also where's the line? Like, you know, if you wear a pair of raw jeans, chucks, a t-shirt, and a hoodie, like, to me that's a very like all-American kind of look, right? But raw jeans, that's the workwear garment, right? Should you not, you know what I mean? At one point, somebody might have looked at that item, like looked at that outfit and been like, what are you trying to look like? You're a laborer, right? Because those pants that you're wearing aren't for going to college, but that's the college outfit now, you know? Mm-hmm. You had to wear trousers and a vest and a button-up shirt to go to college. So certainly things have transcended. You know, if you're the only problem, who cares? But like if you're literally trying to be like, no, I'm an actual laborer, and you know your hands are soft, then that's the only problem. Dressing up as, you know, wearing workwear clothes, and you know maybe you work at a desk, or you know you don't have as physically challenging a job, that's fine. But if you
pretend
that is your job, sure. Then that's the only problem. Like, you know.
But I also have it like a little bit of, you know, because I grew up in the age where, like, you know, you can wear anything to anywhere. Like, you know, obviously there are places that you can't wear jeans to, or there are places that you shouldn't wear, you know, super nice clothes to and stuff like that. But it's just like the lines are so like blurred by the time, like, you know, we're in the like apparels. But like I do remember, like, you know, my grandfather would always dress the way that, like, what he was going to do. Like, he would, when he goes to work, he wore, you know, very nice suit, you know, dressed up. He would, like, when he's wearing jeans, that was the day he would go for the do a field work, or, you know, do a farm work or housework. And then when he's at the beach, he would wear a aloha shirt. Yeah. And it's just like, he was like, and at home he would wear like a pajama style, like Jimbei style things. And it's like, he was always dressed for the purpose that he was going to that day.
That's great.
And it just, now that I think about it, it's such a kind of a cool thing. Like, you know, when you were in school, like, I wore a uniform only when I go to school.
Right.
It's kind of a nice thing to have a purposeful clothing.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I would also say that coming out of the 80s and 90s, and even, I would say, you know, that was my school age, people didn't cross over. Like, what you wore meant a lot more as far as, like, your personality than it does nowadays. That's right? True. Like, true. If you wore tight jeans and a Metallica t-shirt, people knew who you were, right? There was a lot of identity built into your outfit. Whereas now, if you wore, you know, tight jeans and a Metallica t-shirt, and you're 15 or 16 years old, odds are you don't know a single song from Metallica, right? Which is, again, to be fair, I'm gonna say, which is fine. Like, you know, I think somebody even mentioned it in the chat once, and it resonated with me, and like, or I don't know where I heard it, but you know, whether you're a fan of Metallica for 15 minutes or 15 years or 30 years, it doesn't matter, right?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, that you know, if you're a fan, you're a fan, right?
Yeah. But even if you don't, you're not a fan and wearing a t-shirt.
Just nowadays, because that image of, like, your outfit means a lot about you personally, because that image is out the door. Like, I'm not I don't look at that and think, like, oh, you're LARPing. Like, it just, because that person who's wearing it doesn't even understand that they are, like, that when I was a kid, that outfit meant something to them, they're like, oh, I saw this in a picture somewhere, and it looked cool.
Yeah, it's also that, like, you know, a lot of things did actually change with fast fashion, because then, like, you could actually have multiple, like, you don't have to build your wardrobe based off of how you want to portray it to be always, because you can have access to different outfits, like, every week of the year. Like, you can actually update your outfit, you know, for every day. You don't have to wear the same things over and over and over again.
Right.
So I guess the commitment level is just going down so much.
Yeah. Venomous Teddy writes, part of wearing raw denim that I enjoy is that it gives me a uniform. It helps me think way less about what to wear.
Yeah.
That is a very, very good point. You know, as like a raw denim guy, you know, if I'm wearing a pair of jeans for a year, 2 years, whatever, like, half my outfit is decided for me already, you know?
It actually, the Indigo Invitational or something like that did actually force me to be like, okay, like, I'm wearing that on the bottom every day, almost every day.
Yeah.
So, like, my top choices are based off of that.
Yeah.
And it's kind of make it easy.
It definitely, every now and then I think to myself, like, as someone who has accumulated a lot of things, and I've, like, a lot. Like, I've a stupid amount of a lot of things. Do you know how many headphones I own? Too many, right? If I could start it all over again...
You could.
I could, but I like stuff. I think the problem is that I like stuff, right? I could really... Like, if I were to write a manual on, like, here's how to live minimally and with all the best things... Here's what it's going to cost, and that's all you need, right? And you will have a great life. And I think for someone who might be coming into, you know, growing up, 22, 23 years old, maybe you're getting your first job, starting to get some, you know, got a little bit of money in your pocket. Like, if you take that advice and just go with it, like, you would live a pretty, look, it might be by doing that, you're also removing the spice of life from someone's experience. You know, sometimes you gotta experience and learn things, but
and also it's human nature to want, like, I don't know, variety is also important. I think you also, not just, like, you know, deciding on your style, like, you probably should experience a lot of different phases and different things.
Yeah.
But even when you decide on this is who I am, I'm like a t-shirt and a jeans kind of guy, it will still be like that's our whole industry. Like, our, like, you know, in our community, it's all jeans and t-shirt and flannels and boots and whatnot. And yet they keep buying things.
Right.
It's just you can't help it.
Yeah. Right. Because you like it. Right? If you, like, even though I have a closet full of flannels, when we make new flannels, I'm like, I like that flannel.
This is nice. Yeah,
right.
Like, I want this.
Yeah, it's hard to say no because it's not just that it's a function. Like, I'm sure there are some people who are out there, okay, I have a functional wardrobe, I'm not going to think about it. That's fine. And you can certainly build something up with raw denim to do that. No question about it. But I think this is also the reason why we might have a few more pairs of jeans in our closets than we might, you know, quote unquote 100%. Need. It's because we just like it.
Yeah.
I like this stuff. Yeah. I like looking at it. Yeah.
So there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah. It's kind of like the food argument. Like, yeah, we figured out what we need to survive.
Right.
We can just, you know, eat that, like, just the whatever, the, you know, like a shade.
Soylent Green.
Things like that, and we'll be okay. That's all we need. But nobody's going to live like that because it's important to enjoy life. It's important to have different things and enjoy it and motivate you. It's, the argument of, like, oh, this is what you need and you should stick with this is just, it's not attainable.
Yeah. Cruiser writes, one less thing to think about when you don't have to worry how you're dressed. Uniform and go. Yeah, that's definitely, look, my uniform is even at home. It's this jacket now. Like I wear like my True Guy dirty phase and this jacket. Like it's pretty much all day, every day.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to wear this jacket. I don't have a worn-in chore coat, and it's kind of handy to have I find it quite handy to wear this around the house because, you know, I've got pockets. I can keep my pens and notebooks and tissue papers and, you know, whatever. Also, because I don't care, like, if I'm cleaning or washing, like, I just, you know, I wipe my hands, so it's...
Yeah.
Usually I do that on my jeans, but, like, this has just become, like, an apron for everything. It just collects whatever it needs to collect, and...
Yeah. I think we also all, like, go through phases of, like, wearing the same things. Like, you just... Not because you don't like the other thing you have. It's just, like, you're in the mood to wear, like, this, that, you know, routine kind of things. Yeah. But you have to get out of it every now and then. This
is a very unrelated question, but a good question, because I mentioned the word LARPing.
Okay.
Green Tea Kit Kat writes, do they have LARPing in Japan? Like a bunch of people dressed as samurai at the park on the weekend? I don't think they do.
I mean, it's all LARPing. Like, if you go to Harajuku, yeah, I'm sure
No.
Like,
but
that's
like,
LARPing.
In Montreal, if you go to the park on the weekend, there's guys in like knights outfits, and they're battling dragons.
Yeah, they're not battling dragons. I'm sure there are, because every something that you can think of, it exists. But it's not a thing. Like where again, like Harajuku, you know, Lolita, girls kind of things, like that is very common. That you know, that's everybody has seen it every single day of their lives.
Yes, like fashion LARPing is one thing, and like you said, like Lolita style is very common.
Yeah, but they also like they go to like tea rooms.
Yeah.
Like.
Right, tea party and
stuff like that. So
very
it's not,
frilly and girly and
it's
romantic.
It's not just like wearing clothes.
Yeah, that's true. But I think this specific question is, are there guys like, you know, as in the,
yeah, like those things. I've never
seen it. I'm sure it exists, but I've never seen it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm sure it exists.
Yeah, but are they doing it like English knights style? Or are they doing it samurai style? That's a funny, good question.
But even North America, they have those different kinds.
I've never seen a guy in the West dress up as a samurai to live action role play.
It's always like a Middle Ages kind of style. Mm-hmm.
That's from what I've seen, and I've seen a lot of it in Montreal. There's a lot of it. Like, they're everywhere. But yeah, like, anyways, I don't know. The answer is I don't know. But I can assure you some kind of LARPing exists here, and like in the, you know, that sense. I'm gonna roll the dice and say that I bet you it's a bunch of foreigners who have some kind of Facebook group, and they're like, let's meet up at this park to do it, and
we should go to more parks.
But I've never ever seen that here.
Yeah.
Anyways, nerd alert, nerd alert. When you said LARPing earlier, I thought nerd alert. I mean, you know, I think LARPing is a you know, whether you're LARPing as a middle-aged knight to play, you know, fantasy in the park, it's fine. Look, I'm not disparaging that. Actually, I think it's quite, you know, you enjoy your life. You know, whatever. I'm not trying to put anybody down in that respect. Do you have fun? And if you're having fun, then I'm happy you're having fun.
We're all nerds here.
Yeah, we're all bingo. We're all nerds here. We're talking about pants, okay? But yeah, I mean, look, if you're like Lolita style or if you're heritage style, like to some degree, I mean, like I use this term to, you know, encapsulate that. Like if your persona is built off of like an image of something else, like you know,
but like I only knew about LARPing from that movie. What was it?
What I know what you're talking about.
was it Superbad? No, it's like it was one of those movies.
Yeah,
and that I didn't know about LARPing until then. Like I've never seen it.
Yeah,
like, I've never seen people like gather and do that stuff.
Yeah. And then you moved to Montreal.
Yes, but was it like an old thing, or did it start right around then? Like that was probably.
Everyone's saying the movie is called Role Models. Role Models.
Oh,
yeah.
Role Models? Is it?
Yeah. Was it a thing before then? I don't know.
Is it an old thing? Like
I only became aware of it probably around the time that movie came out. Yeah. But anyways, there you go. Pedro writes, "Nerd," in the Homer Simpson voice. That was a funny episode. Homer goes to college. Pedro writes, "I swear I've seen kids doing that once at a park while I was at the skate park. I remember looking at my friends like, what the F?" You know what? I have to say, man, that's what a lot of people might think when they see people like that. And those people go out and they do that and they have their own fun, and good for them.
Oh,
you know what? Like, I really admire their, like, I don't care. I don't care what you think. This is fun for me. It's fun for my friends. We're going to go out and have a great time. And I'm not going to be snarky about it. Yeah. And I'm just going to be like, yeah, awesome. You guys do your thing. Enjoy it.
Is, like, say, you know, there were, like, even before the internet, there were, like, Civil War, like...
Yeah, like, there's, like, reenactments, like war reenactments.
Are those considered
Yeah,
LARPing?
To me, that's a LARP. That's also a LARP, right? I guess, you know, it's a historical battle, and we go to the field, and we, you know...
But it's like...
No question, it's exactly the same thing, right? Like, if you go to, like, a Renaissance fair, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. It's just, like, you know, these guys they've got... The silliness is that they made like a foam sword and they're, you know, fighting in the park with foam weapons. But those, I mean, I guess the silliness is that like the reenactments is like, well, we have maybe a replica musket that looks real. I'm like, yeah, I mean, I suppose.
But they're not shooting everybody with
they're not.
that.
Right.
Right?
I mean, I don't think they have, like, they're not live ammunition. Maybe they have, like, you know, things that make...
like
noise and something. I'm not sure. But yeah. Nick Vilpu writes, "All the guys who do Airsoft on the weekends are LARPing too." Bingo. There's big Airsoft community here in Japan. And, I mean, they gear up. Like, you know what's amazing is for those who are into Airsoft, which I'm actually starting to like look into, but all the Airsoft anime, headphones, and Airsoft all seem to be the same community.
Really?
Yeah, like all the like, I don't know what it is about the Airsoft magazines, but it's always like cute, like, you know, Japanese girls with
those are just men in general.
Yeah, but I think it's there's something about anime girls and like cute girls dressed up in this style with, I don't know what it is, but there's a big correlation between these communities, I think. I don't know what it is with the headphones in the anime, like, but it's like this. I don't know why.
Only in Japan? Or
yeah, only
everywhere?
in Japan. It like the way they market. I don't think that the way they market most Airsoft guns in Japan is the way that they market certain types of headphones in Japan, but there's a lot of like anime tie-in collaboration type of like a lot.
Anime tie-ins are like
but a lot. Yeah, I guess that is the part, not the problem, but that is the norm here. But yeah, I do see a lot of like just the way for me, like I just wouldn't see like. I don't know. There's just something about like maybe the way the West would market something like an Airsoft gun. It wouldn't involve like a cute young girl, right? It just wouldn't, right? Yeah. And so I'm like,
but I don't. It would if it was going that way, like it would be a sexy lady, like, you know.
Maybe.
But I think it's just like there is no like.
They don't. Yeah.
Cute is default, like the the quality of girls here. Like there's just not much like sexy, strong appeal.
Yeah, right. Like, you know, the comic books here, like where we're from, if you buy a comic book, like the comic book character is on the cover of the magazine, right? Spider-Man is on the front. You know, Doctor Doom is on the front. Whereas here, the front of the comic book is usually like a bikini girl.
Yeah, so those are there are different kinds of comic books, but I think the biggest difference also is that like it's usually like compilation of
short stories,
many different things. But also like when the kids ones always have those characters on the cover. Like the most popular comic of that series, like monthly or weekly, whatever, will be on the cover. Whereas like young adult
comic books
that are targeted towards, you know, older people.
Yeah, like teenage and up.
They would have
boys probably.
The part of the book is it's mostly comic, but they would have a girl in the bikini like photo shoot, like it's like Playboy magazine combined with
but it's not nude. I don't know.
It's not
like,
fully.
Like
it's
you go
mostly
to the,
not always fully nude. There are like different levels, but the ones that they put on the cover obviously it's not nude, but it's they're quite to get to that point.
But they're like young and busty and or maybe not. Anyways, they're just showing.
They are young and busty.
Yeah. So. But to me, it's like I go to whenever you're at the convenience store, there's just like a pile of them right in the very front of the, like right at the cashier. Yeah. I'm like, is that adult content? And you're like, no, that's comics. And I'm like,
well, I mean, it's both.
Yeah, it is both, but it's just such a.
Yeah, but if you're a fan of comic, like, and you have to buy that every week,
I would
whatever,
feel
like,
weird buying that.
Weird,
right? But
it's just.
But like people's mentality isn't the same, I think.
Yeah, but do you like when you started coming to Japan? Like, did you still see like those ladies' pictures on the like a train ads?
Yeah, I guess so.
Like, it was such a common thing. I see it much, much less. Like, I almost never see it anymore. But I think I actually do never see it anymore. But it used to be, like, any train car.
Yeah,
any time of the day. Like, any day of the week. There's always that, like, busty girls photos on the train.
Right.
You just grow up with it.
Yeah. Anyways. Yeah, comic books in Japan. Little different. A little bit different. Okay. Back to raw denim related topics. Okay, BD. Right. What's the next big release? Well, we are releasing the Kikko denim.
Yeah.
That's going to be coming out. Let me just pull up because I did a small little Instagram teaser here. So, did that work? There we go. The Kikko denim is coming out next Friday. So this is going to be June the 9th. And you can see this wonderful, wonderful texture here. I showed this up on the live stream last week, but last week's live stream, we had a few technical difficulties, and so far we've been technical difficulty free. So let's praise the internet gods, and hopefully I did not jinx that. But coming out next Friday, boom, Kikko denim. So it's this beautiful textured denim, and it's called Kikko because it might be hard to see, but if you can see, it's kind of got like this honeycomb kind of looking pattern woven right into the fabric, and certainly you can see it a lot more when you see it here in the Instagram post. You can see it real up close, and you can just see how beautifully it fades. Now, we rinse washed this fabric to essentially just give you a head start on activating the color, and you can just see like the beautiful nuance. And because the pattern is actually raised up from the fabric, that part is going to fade at a different rate than the lower part, so you can have a beautiful contrast with it. And we're going to have this fabric available in a bunch of different options. So you got all the jeans, super weird and easy guy, you got the chore coat, you got the denim jacket. So a lot of great options for this fabric. Huh? Oh, and shorts. Yeah, that's right. We also do have shorts for this style. So anyways,
yeah, so we got the short pre-built, like,
Yeah,
and it short is not like a 5-pocket style. It's more like a slacks, like chino pants style.
Yeah.
So slash pockets and the, what do you call it?
Yeah.
The back pocket
Yeah.
is the,
Kyle,
what's the word for it?
I got the short right
Welt pocket. Yeah. So if you like that style, you can get it like this, or if you like the 5-pocket style, you can just buy the jeans and request.
Yeah, so it's kind of like a work trouser with in the shorts version. So anyways, the video for this is coming up next week. We'll do a full deep dive on this fabric.
Yeah,
and
but it's so soft because it's rinse washed and stuff too. But it's so soft and it's very like, I don't know, sturdy too. It's not like flimsy.
Yeah. There was a question about Nick. Right? Should we expect much stretch on the Kikko denim shorts or go true to size? Is it selvage? It's not selvage.
Not selvage.
I would say it's not going to stretch that much.
No.
So if you're...
It's got the natural give.
Yeah.
Especially because it's, it's got the texture and you could,
Yeah. It has a natural give, but I don't think it's going to stretch like denim is, where it stretches out and just kind of becomes a little bit bigger. I would consider... I would ask you to consider... when sizing, make sure there's a little bit of extra room, and then you will have a much better time with these.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they might feel a little constraining or fitted. So, we'll certainly talk about that in the video. But if you're looking to get a pair of these, make sure you have a little bit of extra room, and you will be much happier with the way that they fit. And then there was another question. Kyle McAfee writes, "That's different than a Dobby weave, correct?" Incorrect. This is a Dobby weave. Yeah. So, go ahead.
So, just the general thing about these kind of fabrics. So, like when you get a pattern made of weaves, like patterns that are not printed or stamped or anything like that on the fabric, it's usually a method called jacquard. So jacquard is the machine that like controls the warp so that like the pattern comes out in a certain way.
Yeah.
The Dobby machines are basically jacquard, but Dobby is more like focused, like we generally call like machines that do like more smaller repeating patterns, like much smaller, like things like this or things like
dots.
Smaller dots that are like just everywhere. Those are called Dobby. Whereas like more patterns that are like more intricate, more not so much of a repeating small patterns are called jacquard just in general.
Yeah. But they're essentially made the same way. Where
it's the same principle. It's just the machines are made differently, I guess.
Yeah. So there you have it. That's the Kikko denim. One of the last releases of the Spring/Summer 2023 collection. There's the Dusty Rose.
Yeah.
There is another jacquard fabric, which I don't have an ETA on, which...
At this point in the season... Might not make it.
But the Luxury Flowers, which I really do want to happen, but it's just not on my production schedule yet for some reason. And we're approaching the end of the summer, so it might get...
To be fair, that's actually, for something that's floral, that's very much fall. Like
it could be worn into the fall. It's just... Yeah. Well, anyways, I'm not sure when it'll get made, because I don't want, like, if it's not cut, then I don't want it to push any of the fall items, down the road. So it might have to wait until there's a hole in the production schedule where we can sloop it in and then get it made.
Yeah.
So
these are the actual nitty-gritty of
production and timing and once something kind of misses its time, it's like, okay,
I have to consider what's at stake.
Yeah. Like last season, I think we missed out on the blanket line. There was a jacket that didn't come out.
Right.
But it'll eventually make it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, for instance, Perfect Blue Selvedge, we were going to have women's, and they didn't get made in time.
Yeah.
And they got just made like
Recently.
So they were coming out, but like a season late. So sometimes things like that happen.
Yeah. It's it's the downside of, I would say, North American production, where you are quite limited. You know, we don't have the advantage of like having a factory in another country where they can, like, some of these factories, like, their output per week is what we can do in a year. Like, it's just it's not ridiculous. It's just a matter of scale and capacity.
Yeah.
It's just
But I do think that also part of like having a smaller scale own factory is that when the things are late, like the consequences relatively
that's
relaxed.
true. Yeah, right.
If you're working with like a bigger scale and working with much more strict third party brands, then they would not miss a deadline. It will, like, I think that's part of it. Like, it's North American strictness.
Yeah.
First of all, and it's also the fact that it's our own factory.
That's true. Okay. BD and Chris are both calling for a scratch test preview.
Oh. Live scratch.
I'm gonna let Lisa. This is my lovely wife, Lisa.
We've been married for 4 years. We still don't know my name.
I'm working on it. You never do the scratch.
That's true.
So.
It's nails. Okay. Okay, one thing to note is the warp and what the horizontal or vertical sounds exactly the same.
I was about to say that. The warp and the weft sound exactly the same, which is kind of neat.
Yeah.
You don't get that a lot.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
It does look the same.
You know what the problem is now? Is that when we do those scratch tests in the video, it's usually like a live reaction.
Yeah.
And now that we know this, it's going to be hard to do the...
No. We're going to act it out. We're good actors.
You guys will know that when we do it for the video, it will not be...
Yeah, because we haven't shot the video yet.
Yeah, we're going to shoot that next week. But, there you have it. Okay.
Yeah.
Nick Sparks writes, any traction on an in-store fade review for NYC location? Oh, yeah. I mean, I wish... look... I want to be everywhere all at once.
There are a lot of things we want to do, and we talk about it like before we do it, and that's kind of the problem. But
I one day. Adam Erickson writes, so is the Kikko denim about as starchy as some of the usual denims?
No.
Not at all. These have been rinse washed, so the starch has been washed out of it. This is a very drapey fabric right off the bat. As you can see, there is really no, there's no rigid structure to this fabric.
It's not light denim, but it just drapes like this.
Yeah.
So very soft.
Yeah. Venom Steady, you could reuse this footage for your video. Yes, but no. And the reason why is because I'm a stickler for... I don't know why I'm pointing my pen at you so much, but I'm a stickler for consistency and video quality, and you have no idea. Like, it's just... It's editing video is...
But also, like, realistically, we can just... plug in this into the middle of the video that looks exactly like...
Right. It will look a little off. If I was a more cleverer editor, I would be like, oh, and here was our reaction from the live stream. Clip. And then the video quality stinks compared. The audio quality... Because I'm not recording at the same audio quality. It'll be a whole thing. And I'd be like, oh, that doesn't look good. I mean, to be fair, I think, the audience on YouTube in general is a lot more forgiving. Right? And they'd be like, oh, like most people watch it and be like, that's fine. But like,
Yeah, they're not trying to watch a Hollywood movie.
But as a, like, just my OCD-ness, I'd be like, no, I can't make it like that.
Yeah. But also, I mean, it wasn't like, I don't think you need to be an Oscar level actor to get the, to recreate the first reaction.
Yeah. BD, I guess that's true. I'd be like, whoa. I think we should overly.
So all of you who watch this will know.
Yeah.
But
I'm going to overly act on that one. I'm going to be like, you know what I'm going to do? Like, if you guys have ever seen videos of, like, Japan, people going around Japan eating food. I don't know what it is about Japanese TV, and I'm sure there's clips on YouTube, but Japanese TV loves people eating and trying food. It's like half the content on television is somebody going somewhere, some, location in Japan, going to a restaurant and eating something. And the money shot is the reaction to the food. Like, they've just eaten, like, the equivalent of liquid, gold. Like, I don't know what it is, but they'll eat it, and then their eyes are like, it's like ecstasy. Like, oh, this is the most amazing. I'm like, come on, man. Like, it's my Joe Biden coming out there. Come on, man. It's probably good, but it's not that reaction good. Like, there's just no way, because you're on this show every week. Not that I have Japanese TV, but every now and then I see it, might be somewhere I see it. And it's like, I'm like, this is ridiculous. This is crazy.
Yes.
So, anyways, we're going to go full on Japan food reaction.
Level of excitement with this denim. Yeah.
I hope you enjoy it. BD, Editor Bayzat here. This is a clip from the stream. That's true. Editor Bayzat. Editor Bayzat doesn't come out so much in the videos. It's only if I make an oopsie. It's usually an oopsie moment. Oopsie doopsie. Something I forgot to talk about. Nick Spark writes, staff member with a camera at the location. It's more about people like this stream bringing in their pants to review. If there was a Bay Area location, I'd be there. You're right. But I would say that, again, it all boils down to, like, manpower and being able to do, like, there was a store called Round 2, and they used to have, like, a vlog from the store, and I thought that was such a cool thing. I liked watching their videos, and, like, it was a vintage store, sneaker store, like, that kind of thing. And, people would come in with their stuff, they'd sell it to the store, they'd say, here's what I'm offering. But it was also just, like, the day-to-day operation of the store. Like, if there was a release, they have the lineup, they talk to their customers. I just thought it was such a cool concept. And man, if I had a guy who would just be my documentarian for the store, I would hire him. But I don't have that guy.
Yeah. And is it worth it? Like, to... I think that's a full-time job that I would be willing to have the position for. Like, because I think that like, I don't know, this is just idealistic Bayzad, but I think there's a lot going on that's kind of exciting, whether it's at Tate and Yoko or at Naked Famous New York. I don't know, maybe it's just my taste, but I do like the behind the scenes type of content. Yeah, obviously, I'm not saying that it's not a good content. It's just like, we do have a hard time finding good, like, staff to help customers, and stuff like that. So it's like having one person dedicated to, like, some YouTube content,
like shooting and editing. Like, they would have to do it all. Like, it would have to be like a one-person production machine where it's like, all right, I'm hanging around the store for 2 or 3 days. We're gonna just follow you along, and then I'll clip it down to like 20 minutes. I think that would be really, really cool. But I need someone who is like, that's gonna be their job. I don't know. Sometimes it seems like, oh, there's got to be people for that, and then you're like, and then you start looking for it, and then it also has to be the right person. It's not just someone who can do it. It's someone who is into it. I feel like that round 2 store, that was a staff member, right? Like they were part of it. They liked it, and I know what I remember. We were trying to hire some video people for Tate and Yoko back in the day, and nobody knew what even the basics of what we did, and it was a lot of freelancers who were like, I shoot and edit video, and it's like I could shoot and edit video for you, but it's like I don't want it to be that I have to tell you what you have to shoot and edit all the time. It has to be built in,
and they also all wanted freelance, per job kind of.
And I don't want that. I want someone who's our person.
It doesn't have to be full time. It could be a part time, but you are our guy.
Like we can rely on you. Like a
you
freelancer.
show up when you're supposed to show up, not each time we have to call you up and schedule a day. And
No, it's like if you're gonna be here, you come in on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or whatever, Saturday, Sunday, and those are your days you're working. We can expect you to be there. So, if that's you, if you're a raw denim person who's likes making videos or can shoot vlog content, you don't even need to be that good.
Yeah, that's not a
if you know how to use Premiere or Resolve or whatever to some degree, and have a vision for creating a story out of content, I'll hear from you.
This is not for a TV station.
Yeah, but I certainly want to have more content, and it's easier said than done. But Lee Shang style writes, do pocket bags with a fade log printed on? Not a bad idea.
Yeah, well,
but
some brands have done that in the past. I
like that's true. I don't know. The fade log idea as a card, I like it because it's just a thing, right? Whereas I don't know how many people are gonna. It might be cool, if you printed it in the jean, when you got it, right, and then that way you remember it. But if little marking X's on the inside of your pocket bag, I don't know how many people are gonna do that.
Yeah, I think it's just more of a thing.
I think the convenience is in the card, in the little fade log card.
One time, we did my previous work, we did a tag. It's
right.
With little space to just write in things. First wash, which date.
Pedro writes, I've never used the pocket bags. I've always just used the flasher itself. That's not a bad idea either. You use the flasher, you write it, you keep it in a drawer somewhere.
Backside of the flasher.
Write a little note. Okay. Myron writes, I'm a customer. My frustration is that when you make a video for new jeans, I click the link at NYC and it's always sold out under latest. Always sold out. Latest was lightweight, ecru, organic. Very frustrating. By the way, very well made. Okay. The New York website.
It doesn't have the coming soon set up.
Yeah. It's I guess we can change it. It's just it's a coding thing on the back end of the website, but I hear your frustration. But also, just if something if it says it's going to come out on a particular date and it's before that date and it says sold out, it just hasn't come out yet. But I get it that it might be I understand what you're saying. Yeah. It's certainly a little confusing, and we can address that. Leonardo writes, I normally just tally up the wears on the size tag.
Yeah, so we could add, because we already have 3 layers, so the size tag and then the care labels. We could add.
They do wash off with enough wear. What's printed on them.
But but you're writing on it. What you're writing is the point. Like the the line that says first wash, second wash.
Yeah,
like,
I'm just worried that it would wash off over time. Like
yeah, but then you can write on it. Like if it's like second wash part is
the tag is so small. You have to have really fancy handwriting. Yeah. Tag. The pocket bag is is a better place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
We've established that.
Yeah.
But
another thing is the pocket bag has to be good and
that's true.
we can't have black.
Right. Or printed pocket bags. Guys, just use the card. Use your pocket flasher. That's a great idea. The pocket flasher is a good idea.
We could start printing
on the back of the pocket flasher? Yeah.
That's actually the easiest for us to
Probably.
figure out. Yeah.
Okay. Cathedral ring. I take photos after washes to document. Good man. I don't document as much as I would like to. If I had a studio, which technically in Montreal we do have a studio. Again, it's just a manpower time thing. But yeah. Document it, like every now and then. Like I certainly take a lot of photos of jeans. I just don't take enough photos of my worn-in jeans, and good ones. I got to take better photos of that. Myron, so you're saying I missed out on a few different pairs because I thought they were sold out. Lesson learned. We'll call next time, but I definitely fixed that. You may have missed out on them. Also, just a word for the wise is in that video we also mentioned check out the blog post linked in the description because there you have a complete listing of every retailer that carries that particular product. And if something sold out on Tate and Yoko or something sold out on Naked Famous Denim NYC, chances are, especially if you're watching that video within like the first 5 or 6 months of it coming out, chances are somebody on that list has those jeans. Yeah. Right? We work with a lot of small retailers, right? They don't have the internet presence as a Blue Owl or a James Dand or a Cultism. They're just so they mostly deal with their locals, the people who walk in. They sell a little bit online, but because they don't have as big a following and people who are like really waiting and chasing to get that right away. They sell their stuff off a little bit more, smoothly throughout the season. And they might just have that item you're looking for. So definitely take advantage of that customer list because you'd be surprised how many jeans you can find by going through that list.
Yeah. And also, when you're in doubt, just go to Tate and Yoko and if it has come out or if it hasn't come out.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Cathedral ring. Quick side note. I went to watch the last Wonder Looper video, like you said. I'm ready for that Tsuriami release.
Me too.
Yes. Oh, especially us. Yeah. Why am I'm pointing a lot? Hopefully nobody's offended by this.
You like that pen.
I like this pen. This has been my best friend this live stream. You're my best friend this live stream.
Me?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Always.
Thank you.
But this pen. Chris Griffin, if something is within the last 2 years, there is a good chance of finding something. I've spent a few hours going through the store locator just seeing what's available. It's true. It's very true. Like, you can find a lot. And I've found stuff for people, but just go through that store locator, go through the product release list. You will find it. Probably.
Yeah.
Okay. Nicholas Vilpu, I got drenched in the rain in Tokyo last night. Does that count as a soak?
Yes.
The answer is yes. If it's specifically Japanese typhoon rain, it counts as a soak. It is.
Or if it's soaked, it's soaked.
Yeah.
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 Japanese rain does something to the Japanese denim.
That's it.
For sure.
Yeah, that's why you have to come to Japan, everybody. If you're wearing Japanese denim, you have to come. You have to bring it back to the motherland at least once in its life.
Mm-hmm. And then kind of like rebirth.
It reinvigorates the indigo particles somehow. The Japanese sun, it's a different sun over here, and then the water is just the right pH balance level, especially if you are hit with the power of a typhoon, or if you go into the Japanese Sea. It's really.
Remember when people were like obsessed with the pH of like a specific rain, like
oh
acid,
yeah, you never hear the word acid rain anymore.
Yeah.
That was a big one when I was a kid. We all thought we were gonna melt from the acid rain. Like, man, it's gonna be like fire flying from the sky. I'm sure. I'm sure. I don't know anything about that, but yeah, that's killer bees. They always try to get us with killer bees every couple years. Every couple years, there's always a story about killer bees. I'm like, I've never seen a killer bees ain't coming, and yeah, acid rain. Also, the other. Acid, man, when I was a kid, it was acid rain and free Tibet. Have you ever heard the words, those two words, free Tibet? There's probably a group of people in this chat right now who've never heard those two words together. But if you're of a certain age, that was, boy, was that the phrase to live by. Mm-hmm. Yeah, murder hornets. Killer bees, acid rain, and free Tibet. Those are all extinct ideas. Man, I'm old. Everybody. Junior writes, free Tibet? Yeah.
Yeah.
Life has a lot less quicksand than my childhood. Oh yeah, Chris Griffin. Life has a lot less quicksand than my childhood led me to believe. That's true. Man.
Bird flu.
Swine flu.
That's still kind of a thing.
Yeah, I guess we had that one flu that was going around for a couple of...
that wasn't a bird flu.
No, it wasn't a bird flu. But
bird flu, like, it happens, like, it comes back every few years, too. Yeah. And it is a thing. It's not like they're making that up.
Guys,
but
they're going to knock it out 2 weeks. Don't worry. 2 weeks.
I mean, if you're, farmer.
Yeah. Okay. Daryl Hands writes, hey guys, when will you ever release a denim tote bag? Technically, we've released denim tote bags in the past. We just haven't done one in recent times.
Yeah.
I have to follow up with Brandon because I know we were working on a tote bag with a tote bag manufacturer. I just don't know what's going on with that.
Yeah.
Don't know what's going on.
It's one
with
of those side projects that's.
Yeah. Pedro, Bill Burr said it best. Drink some orange juice, put on a sweater, you'll be fine. It's very true. Truer words have never been spoken. Cathedral Ring, E. coli scares in the 90s. Man.
There's a lot of things.
Yeah, a lot of things. You know what's fun to watch? Just watch talk shows like Sally Jesse Raphael or Jenny Jones or what's the other one? Anyway, Donahue. Just on YouTube, there's so many episodes of them from the 90s, and just listen to the crap we were worried about. Like, so obviously there are some real social issues that they talked about on these shows, but like not having the internet and like this kind of crap, it wasn't all crap. Some of it is just entertaining. Maybe I'm being too hard, Geraldo. But watch some of these shows and listen to the stuff that we were afraid of. And boy,
I mean, listen to the stuff that we are currently afraid of too.
Yeah, they're still satanic panic. That was definitely definitely a thing.
Mm-hmm. Definitely a thing.
Man,
that's a weird one.
It was a thing in the sense that like they pushed it on us, like and like the one that like I'm like, man, I think they're not telling me the truth. Was the violent video games making us all like murderers? And I'm like,
That sentiment actually is not completely gone, I think. Like,
yeah, but it was really, really strong when I was a kid. It was so strong.
that was the start of violent video games too, I guess.
I guess. And,
But that sentiment doesn't really go away because, you know, as long as the world has violent video games and violent people coexisting, then it's always going to be a thing.
Yeah. Anyhow. What do we got here? Pedro. Speaking of violent video games, Pedro writes, hyped for the new Mortal Kombat? Actually, yes. I know Street Fighter 6 just came out. I do not own it, have not played it. But
is this the first Street Fighter game that you don't own?
Yes, it is the only Street Fighter game that I don't currently own. I'm sure at some point I will own it. I have zero time to play video games, and the idea of like learning to play this and then just getting my behind handed to me online is not something I'm looking forward to. And like there's just so many new characters. Old Zad is coming out, and I'm just like, I don't have time to learn new people's names.
Okay.
Mortal Kombat, you looked at the trailer, I'm like, I know all of these guys. I know every one of them. This is what I know, and this looks entertaining to me. Yeah.
So you are willing to have your behind handed to your...
In Mortal Kombat? Yeah, maybe. I probably won't have time to play it either. The reality is I have no time to play any of those games. But it caught my eye. I was more interested in it than I was Street Fighter 6. I'll say that. I'm sure, yeah, the games are too complex now. Yeah. I don't have the finger dexterity that I once had. And
I gave up when game became like a 360. Like I just want to go horizontally towards one direction.
Yeah. Adam writes, thoughts on Tekken? I played a lot of Tekken. A lot. But recently I'm not, like, again, it's just, it all boils down to I have no time for games. And yeah, I just no time for that at all. Junior writes, horizontal is the way. Yeah, fighting games. Look, to be fair, I did play a lot of Tekken. A lot of there's 3D fighter. Tekken is the only 3D fighter that I really care to play. Like Virtua Fighter, it's fine. I'm not that into it. Soul Calibur, I was never, I might have played it a few times. I was never hardcore into that game. But yeah, just give me a good old 2D fighter, and I'm happy.
I don't think I've ever gotten into fighting games.
Yeah, I don't know. They're hard. They're not that easy to play. They're I would Street Fighter 2, that era. Yeah, once you get past once you get into Super Turbo, things get a little bit more complicated. But yeah, once they started adding super meters and guard breaks and all that kind of, the more technical they made the mechanics of the games, I think the less fun they became, because there was just so much more you had to worry about. Whereas I just want to beat the other person up, right? And speaking of technical, Derek writes Killer Instinct. Huge Killer Instinct fan. I played a lot of Killer Instinct. Even the newer one, that when it came out on the reason why I bought an Xbox One, Killer Instinct. I was and I played it a lot when it came out, but that's a very, very, very technical game. But I was just caught up with the nostalgia with that one. Daryl Hands, I think the best game is Mario Kart 8.
I do like Mario Kart.
Mario Kart's easy. You want to play competitive is fine, but if you just want to play, everyone can play Mario Kart. Mm-hmm. And what I think is really amazing about, I know we're a Raw Denim podcast, but what's really amazing about the current Mario Kart is if there's sometimes your friends' kids will come over and they're just kids. But they have an easy mode where it guides them, right? And like even the kids who don't really, they don't have the motor skills to play video games like that well, they can play it. And I just thought that was such a nice thing.
Yeah, because you get frustrated when you can't play well, and that's not fun.
Right, because sometimes they're like, oh, I want to play a different game, and they're really demanding about wanting to play a different game, and like I'll put in a game like Mario 64 on like the Switch or like Mario Odyssey or something, and they don't know what to do. Like they're just running around in circles and like they don't know how to play this game, whereas everybody can play Mario Kart, and that's it. Mario Kart that's the best game. It's been decided. Pedro, simple is best, and I'm a firm believer in that fighting games. Oh wait, simple is best, and I'm a firm believer in that in fighting games. Never got the hang of the meter bars in previous MKs. Simple is best, and I'm a firm believer in that in fighting games. Yeah, simple is best. Yeah, you make it too complex. I have no idea what you want me to do. No idea. It's too much. Don't make it too technically overbearing to be able to play the game, or otherwise, people who've never played fighting games won't get into it. They won't. It's just a high barrier for them to get into, to enjoy. And then when you get online, which is what I think most people want to do, you just get wrecked. Whereas, a game like even like the Call of Duty and like shooters type games, when the loadouts became way too complicated, I was like, okay, I'm done. Because I just felt like part of the reason why I'm losing is because I don't have the technical knowledge of what is the optimal, weapon, loadout, whatever thing for this particular stage, right? Whereas, a game like Counter-Strike, very simple. I don't have to worry about too much, right? Or like earlier, Call of Duty, I don't have to worry too much about what your loadout is. It's like, you have a certain play style and you can, customize your build to that, but like, I don't know, things got way too much, and I'm like, I don't know what the hell is going on anymore.
All of this talk is going
way over your head. Yeah. Okay. Video game talk, LARPing talk. Man, what else can we talk about during this live stream? Okay, I want to talk about one more thing, very, very Raw Denim related, and this is the question. This is a question I wanted to talk about last week, and the question is the role of Selvedge Denim, and we can explore its significance, its characteristics, and its appeal that it holds towards denim enthusiasts. Why do denim enthusiasts care that denim is selvage and not or not selvage? And we can discuss, why it matters.
Mm-hmm. Interesting topic.
That's a good topic. Why do we care about that red line, or that edge of the fabric for?
Yeah, and I think we can all like say things like, oh, old school looms make more interesting fabric because it's not like super, modernized and fast and robotic. It's not a lie. There is a truth to that. But I do think that people put more emphasis on that just as a thing, to, like, they put more value in that, even if, like, sometimes you can't tell a difference when you're looking at the fabric if it's, a cut swatch. Like, you can't 100% be like, oh, this was made on shadow loom versus projectile loom, or things like that. Yeah. It's just like, I think people do put a higher value on it because it's recognizable, because it is something that you can point a finger to it and say this is better. Just like it does add value. I'm not saying that it doesn't, but we do load up that value of like old school way of weaving fabric way too much, I think.
I don't know if it's way too much. I certainly, for me, that edge represents a lot, right? It's not just that, some people might say, well, physically, as like the characteristic of the denim, it's tougher because it can't technically unravel, and fine, okay, I'll accept that. But I don't think that anyone's like, well, I buy it because it's it's not going to fray at the end, so it's technically a better quality, right? Like nobody's.
Oh, we figured out a solution.
Right,
to
right.
that.
We already serge edges, so I don't think that anyone who would say that is being genuine. But that edge to me represents, the desire to keep how things were made, right? Despite it being harder to make and less efficient, I'm still gonna make it that I know there's a better. It's like a digital camera versus an analog camera, right? An analog camera is an annoyance. No matter what, even you have the best, Leica M10, or I don't know if that's a manual camera or a digital camera now. I'm not sure, but the fact that you're so steadfast and I'm gonna continue to do it this way. I don't care if there's a better way to do it. I don't care if there's all this new technology that makes my life easier. I'm committed to making it in this traditional way, and that stubbornness and the stubbornness is what I like. Just there's no doubt about it. I love somebody who's like, oh, I don't care. Like, I'm gonna make furniture with only hand tools. To some people, that's like, well, you're just inviting yourself into a world of problems, right? But despite that, I'm gonna do it, and I'm gonna make it just as good, if not better, than someone who has all the modern, this and that, and all the technology to do it this way. I'm still gonna make it, and it's gonna work, and it's gonna be great. And to me, that's what that edge stands for, and that's what I really, really appreciate about Selvedge fabrics.
I think it's also that the idea of like paying attention to how things are made, like that is not a common thing. And if once you look into that, like how denim is made, how it's different from other fabrics, and once you get into all of that stuff, like you create value in your head. Like it might not be a value that you can like just point fingers to. It's just like, I appreciate this. I understand that there's a difference. And even though, like you said, like they can't sometimes, like the other might be a better way. It's just like, I know about this now, and that I have to kind of appreciate it because I know, like,
right.
And not many people know. I think that's definitely a part of it.
Cruiser writes, I think the tradition and time involvement makes Selvedge unique and worth the price. People are literally taking more time out of their lives to produce these things. Time is finite for all of us. Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, like... Yeah, and like anything that involves, like, certainly, even like a modern produced fabric, it still takes time and it still takes somebody's effort to do it. But I think it's just the commitment to making it and like not allowing the traditional way to be gone. Yeah. Right?
And it's like, so it's not that it's like the older way is always better. I do think there's a like place where we landed where we, with shuttle loom, with a slower and older machine, that we achieved the point where we could make a very high quality fabric. Hand looms weren't able to do that. We achieved that point, and then from that point on, we achieved even higher. We can make things more efficient, and we can make everything more perfect.
Yeah.
But like the value after that, it just, because it became just the race to the most efficient. Yeah. It just, we feel like, well, no, like when we only achieved the quality was better than when we are just racing for the efficiency.
Yeah.
And that might not necessarily be true. That it's like obviously the quality isn't going down just because we make it in newer machines. It's just that there's just nostalgia of the time where we were going for like the quality way more than that.
And I just find that like I don't want to lose this tradition either. So I hold the value in the people that are still making these kinds of fabrics because it could one day be gone. It really can. Yeah. And so if you support the people who are still doing it this way, then you'll hold on to it longer. Mm-hmm. And I don't think modern denim production is going to change in any significant way in our lifetime. But I think the number of people that will be able to run the shuttle looms will. That will, I think it will. And the other things that you have to consider are these machines are old. At some point, they are going to be, certain amount of them are going to start to fall out of commission. They just can't run forever.
But that's also, I think, why people like it. It's kind of like with the embroidery machine, the chain stitch machine that I have. Like computerized things do go out of commission, whereas like more mechanical things tend to fail.
That's true. You're right. Actually, maybe I'm wrong, and that those old machines. Like, somebody might not be making parts for them anymore.
Right.
But somebody can make parts for them. Right? Like, if you had to make a gear, somebody who makes gears...
Yeah, it could last hundreds of years.
That's absolutely true. Whereas, like, if this is a computer-controlled machines and there's microchips and all this stuff, and, something in there fails, like, on the technical side of things, then it's done, right? If it's just a motor and gears... The motor can be replaced and the gears can be replaced. Yeah. Whereas like chips and controllers and computers. This is my technical tech Bazad talking to here. The microchips are once the virus eats them. No, but like transistors and things like this stuff wears out over time.
Right.
And like certainly you can repair or fix them, but. Like sometimes when hardware dies, it's done. And that's something to consider as well.
Right.
Yeah. Obviously, computer boards are the worst. I mean, they're like you have, especially in retro computing, there are people who like make new versions of old computers. But if you're trying to service an old machine, trying to find those chips, can be very difficult. Especially ones that are still working.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So I mean, I guess that's one of the bigger differences. Yeah, and it's just
Carl's in the chat. Good to see you. What are your thoughts on this topic?
Can I see that question again? The note they had.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The appeal it holds for raw denim enthusiasts. The appeal. I think most of the appeal comes from its cosmetic look.
That's exactly where my brain went first. It's just that like it is because it's such a recognizable thing. You don't have to know too much about it to be like, oh, if it has like the example of your old lady who came to the sample sale. Like as long as you know that like, oh, this like higher quality denim is supposed to have this. Like if you have that information, then you can find it. You can recognize it.
Right.
And that's just like
but that's a sign of quality. But for me, sometimes there's two things. So there's one where it's like maybe it's a bit of a soft flex. I'm into denim. And I want to show that I'm into denim, so I have this.
Yeah.
There's definitely people like that.
Yeah.
And then there's also people who are like, if it's more than just a red line, like it could be like a Hanami or, a colorful one or whatever it is that we've done. Sometimes that's a neat little detail that I like. And you don't have to know anything about selvage at all. And you can be like, that's cool. I like that.
Or different color combo. It's like something to just this subtle design detail for sure. It's interesting. So like I find it like more interesting because nowadays we're learning about like knit fabrics, and obviously there's an equivalency like a comparison to be made about shuttle loom selvage denim versus Loopwheel knit,
like Tsuriami knit.
And one is selvage where you can actually see the difference with eyes, whereas like
one is a touch difference.
It's like then
it's like you really have to know what you're touching.
Exactly. So it's a very subtle difference, and difference that requires you to be a little bit more knowledgeable than just like looking at it and recognizing it on selvage denim. So I kind of think about this topic a little bit more now that we know that. It's interesting.
BD writes, folks like yourself have made me pay attention to the selvage. The community and friendship were a side effect I never saw coming. I just thought I'd be buying some nice fancy jeans. Look at us now. Look at us now. Look, start of this live stream, I talked about getting my first pair of raw denim jeans. And look at me now.
Look at you now.
If it wasn't for, like, that pair changed the course of my life. No doubt about it. If it wasn't for that, I don't know what I'd be doing, but I'm doing what I'm doing because of raw denim, and we're all here together. We're all here together because of it.
Yeah. There is we sometimes talk about how like there's a little bit of gatekeeping in this community, and like you were absolutely not happy about that, but I do think that like it's just like there's sometimes you have like the recognition in the streets, like, oh, that jeans, or like you're into jeans, like that kind of things is actually very just in the know, and instantly you have like a little bit of connection between you and that person.
That's true.
It's just a very nice thing.
Junior writes, would Bayzed be a LARPer if he hadn't found those jeans? Would I be what kind of LARPer? That's the real question. What kind of LARPer would I be? Would I be a medieval, knight? Or would I be...
Like, if you are doing, like, Star Wars type things, is that also LARPing?
Yes. I consider all of that. Cosplay as LARP. Well, I guess LARPing stands for live action role play. So I guess technically you're engaging in, like, some kind of, action, right? So just cosplaying might not be LARPing, but when it goes from, I don't know. Anyways, I think it's like a kind of a throwaway term now for someone who's dressed up as something that they're not. I don't know. Or like they're pretending, like they're like pretend. Maybe it's better like pretend play, right? Yeah. But I don't think if you're dressed in workwear, like, you're not, it's just the style, right? It's not like I'm dressed up like a superhero, right? But I when you use the term loosely, oh, that guy's LARPing as something. Daryl Hands writes, I like the idea of being different than anyone else, and wearing selvage jeans makes me feel different. Sure. Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. Look, man, you're wearing raw jeans that you are gonna wear for months and months and months on end. You're taking part in a living project, and that's pretty cool. Not a lot of people do that. Not a lot of people do that. And I'm sure in your friend group, maybe you might be the one of few who do it, and your friends might be fascinated by it. And now you've got this thing to talk about.
Like, you have a purpose other than, like, you look nice.
Yeah.
When you're, wearing...
when you're dressing. Yeah.
It's kind of nice.
Yeah. There was another one in here. Chris Griffin with the right comment. Folks like you remind me to hit that like button. hey. It's a good time. We're just past 2 hours with a good, solid internet connection. I think that deserves a like, everybody. If you haven't hit that like button yet, take your fist and destroy your keyboard in order to pulverize that like button. I hope that nobody actually did that, because that was a joke. Joking. But do hit that like button. It's very nice. Yes. Nice if you do. Okay. Derek Kinsaid writes, Saber Wolf LARPer, like from Killer Instinct. Would I be dressed up as the Killer Instinct character? I don't know. I don't know. Pedro, I've yet to see anyone wear Selvedge in my area yet. Far as I'm concerned, I'm the only one in my area. Haha, that's got to be someone else who does. But I haven't seen them yet.
Would you talk to them if you see?
Yeah. I remember in like the early 2000s-ish when I was starting to get into sneakers. And I would say that like that was the cusp of sneaker collecting becoming mainstream. I don't know. I don't want, like, man, I'm going to be, I was there. I wasn't there. Like, I wasn't there in the 90s collecting sneakers. Okay. I owned sneakers. I wasn't collecting sneakers. But when I learned about Bape and sneakers, I would say it was just, early 2000s era. Then I started like seeking out sneakers. And I just feel like when I was doing it, let me put it to you this way. When I was doing it, the clubs in Toronto still had dress codes where no sneakers. I don't know if clubs do that anymore, but sneakers weren't seen as something cool, right? So, out of all my friends, I was the only guy who was like, keeping track of what sneaker was coming out at what time. I was trying to buy, Japan has this limited release, and we're on the forums trying to like find somebody in Japan to send it to me, and then I would do these stupid trades we'd do. I'm not saying I was there at the beginning, but I feel like I wasn't there for like, I didn't join at the peak, right? I was there on the coming up. Just to give myself some cred. I don't know where this conversation is going.
Yeah, I was just waiting for you to make a
point.
Oh,
yeah. My point was that at that time, if I saw somebody with some hype sneakers, like you'd have this nod. Like, because we knew. Because it wasn't like, it really wasn't like everybody was on it, right? Not everybody knew about this. So if you... that guy's got those, right? Cool, right? Oh, I saw that guy at that sneaker event at that, oh, yeah. And like the uniform then was like, dunks, raw jeans, some kind of hoodie, or like the other one, it was like raw jeans, some Visvims, like there was a certain look to it, like a. Gotta have your chunky G-Shock, yeah. Like there was just certain aspects of it, and like we all knew, and like, so if you see somebody with Selvedge, sometimes it's just a matter of like, depending on where you are.
Yeah, like if you did that here, like most people
nobody
are like,
had no idea what you're doing. Because you see a lot of selvage here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they don't necessarily are into selvage denim. They're just bought jeans.
Right. But yeah, in North America, if you see a guy with a certain aesthetic.
Yeah, you have to also be a certain aesthetics, I guess.
There's a little bit of an aesthetic thing to it. And you're like, oh, those are those kinds of boots. And that hoodie looks like might be from a particular kind of brand. That guy made some very conscious decisions. And they may be welcome to me asking about it because
it's like you want to be noticed, like when you're like that.
You know that meme where it's like the guy in the corner.
Nobody knows.
Like that's half of being a raw denim guy. It's
nobody knows that I spent so much more money on my jeans.
Right, or like these are natural indigo dye 14-ounce shuttle loom denim, and they're made in this way. And I'm like, nobody knows. And like they, if you did do all that stuff, just like if you put on a nice outfit or you did your makeup nice, like sometimes it's like
you want to be noticed.
You want to be noticed. You want someone to say, those look great, and especially if it's coming from someone who recognizes it.
Yeah. Just a stranger I think that maybe even...
Oh, those jeans, those are really cool. What are they? And like, oh, they're this, that, and the other brand. Like, no, I'm a fan. Like,
when we went to Hawaii, like he got like a comment. He was wearing like a Capital like Sashiko style jacket, and like a guy who was checking the tickets at the
TSA guy.
Yeah, TSA guy was like, oh, that's a cool jacket. And then he asked a couple of questions like, where is it from? And he said, oh, Capital. And like, oh, I thought that might be.
Yeah, he's like, oh, I love the Japanese Americana style, and like he recognized it and he said something, and I'm like, yeah, cool. Like this is.
Yeah, obviously he's in a TSA uniform, so like we wouldn't have known that he's like, you know, but.
But yes, send compliments. If you see somebody who's looking cool and you think they might be welcome for that. Don't be shy. I'm sure they want to hear. I'm sure they would like to hear a compliment about their outfit. I think that's okay. Okay. Cathedral Ring. Good day, sir. Have you heard about our denim? About our denim and Savior Selvage Christ. And knocking on people's doors. Hey guys.
Have you heard of Selvage Denim?
Yeah, we gotta talk about your choices in jeans. And you may be going to denim hell if you don't make the right choice today. The beauty is that you can change your ways right now, and it doesn't take much.
Yeah. Only gonna be a couple $100.
Only a couple $100. Chris Griffin, local fashion is popular between Washington D.C. and Richmond, Virginia, but I don't regularly see selvage. All right, well, we're going to have to change that, Chris. We're going to have to change that. And with you and with this live stream, we've
I mean, just like any cult, start with your inner circle. Like, you just convince your friends and family.
Yeah, guys, you don't know, but you're in a cult right now.
It is
a cult. You don't need to send me any worship money or anything like that, but this is it. Chris Griffin, didn't Brandon Svark do some door knocking? He technically did. I mean, he went to be... So Brandon, I mean, in terms of door knocking, he went from store to store, kind of uninvited. But Brandon's grandfather, who pioneered, patriarch of our company, literally went door to door. Knock, knock, knock. Hey, we've got towels and like dish towels and whatever it was that you need for your, I don't know if you sold blankets, but gloves and whatever you needed for your housewares. That's how we started, door to door to door. And that's it. Now I'm going on the internet, streaming live. Okay. Okay. Green tea Kit Kat. Oh shoot, they've been teaching us about denim so we can make it for them for their cult to This is me reading, guys. I'm not a good reader. Green tea, Kit Kat. Oh shoot, they have been teaching us about denim so we can make it for them in their cult on their commune. You're on to me.
Denim commune, huh?
Denim commune. That'd be fun. That'd be fun, right, guys? Wouldn't that be fun?
They could wear jeans every day.
Wear jeans every day. Work with jeans. Jeans. Is a great store in Montreal, by the way. Mm-hmm. Jeans.
Great name.
Great name. Yeah. Flip your cuff and flip your life around. BD killing it with the phrases. Flip up your cuff to flip up to flip. Flip up your life. Boy. If you dies today, would you go to Jean Heaven? There's no question about it. Cathedral Ring, Denimology. Yes.
Denimology.
I like it. There is a website, Denimology. Yeah. We'd have to... We could take them over. Where can we plant zippers and buttons and grow denim trees? No, the zippers come from the zipper bush. And same with the rivets and buttons. They're little bushes that we would plant. BD, it's either Jevin or Gel.
Jevin. Yeah.
Gel. What jeans would you find in gel? I think we already know. We already know the answer to that question.
What?
I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to disparage.
Oh, I see.
I'm not even going to mention those heathens on this blessed discussion we're having.
All right.
Okay.
I think it might be time to wrap up this rabbit hole.
All right.
Of a conversation.
One more from Shane. I'm liking the comments pairing salvage and religion. Haha. I like it. I'm a big fan. Okay. We're going to leave it there, guys. 2 hours, 21 minutes of live stream here. Pretty good run. Uninterrupted by the lag that we've been having recently. So I appreciate that. Let's thank the good Lord of good internet connections for blessing us with a good internet connection today. Thank you.
Must be a sign.
Must be a sign, and let's bless the denim gods for providing us with the fabric that we all come around to worship every week, right here, live on the Naked Famous Denim Raw Denim live stream, the greatest Raw Denim live stream in the entire universe. There you got it. We'll see you guys again next week, same time, same channel, right here. If you tuned in late, don't forget to watch the restream of this broadcast. Hit the like button before you go. Leave us a comment if you have if you want to learn about something, or if there's a topic you'd like us to discuss next week. And we'll leave it right there. Amen, everybody. Amen.
Amen.
All right. Bye, guys.